We got an American Pope. Stocks are ripping. Bitcoin over $100,000 and altcoins are melting face. Happy Friday, everyone. In the cryptoverse, welcome to the show, the blockchain basement. My man Isaac out there driving around somewhere in northwestern Georgia. Hopefully, he doesn't get abducted by the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and comes back to us on Monday morning. But shout out to you, Isaac. Thanks for getting the show set up for me, brother. And you know what? It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful Friday in crypto. I'm feeling great. Obviously, it feels good to wake up to markets that look like this, folks. Absolutely beautiful. Coming over here, $2,300 Ethereum, BNB at 635, Solana at 170. Almost willing to let CZ out of prison. Now he's out of prison right now, but he should be, so they can stop selling over Wintermute. So they're probably going to do this weekend to a degree here. ADA. Pepe, Dark Green, ENA, and a bunch of other just really great comeback stories here. There's one guy, I think it was on Discover Crypto. He's like, when am I going to see $22 Avalanche again? Well, here you go. But 2 days later, 1.5 days later, you got your $23 Avalanche right there for you. Let's check out how the portfolio is doing. See what we got here. Jupiter up 14%. That's great. That's great. The arena's waking up still, 11% on the arena. My scam token's up 13%. I'm going to YOLO out of this one probably over the weekend. Ethereum, God, it feels good. $23 Avalanche, over $1 on Ondo once again. Cardano nearing that 80-cent mark, man. 80 cents is Cardano. You better do it. You better do it. Let's look at what 80 cents looks like on the chart here. Right there, man. This is old school top of the channel. We've got to break above. We got to prove this spot of about 79 cents, 80 cents as support. It looks like for Cardano, but I believe we can do it. We can fly. Let me know down in the chat what you guys are holding on to, wondering about if you should get out of, get into. This is a more, altcoin focused show. Things are getting hot and heavy in altcoins. We dared look at Ethereum to Bitcoin over the past few days, honestly, weeks. And you know what? The title of this video, Drew is selling, right? Well, you know what? There is absolutely a plan to YOLO out of my altcoin bags. Never going to sell Bitcoin. Learned that lesson, and that was horrible. Biggest regret in crypto, honestly. But there is a time to sell altcoins, and I will go over that here on the show because you know what? Anyone that's getting married to altcoins, all of these altcoins lead back to Bitcoin. That is the deal here. So, you know what? We're going to talk about that on the show. Let's go ahead and look at Ethereum to Bitcoin and a bunch of other trading pair charts as well, because this stuff matters. I'm getting ahead of the conversation here. Everyone's going to be freaking marrying these altcoins when they start moving again, and I'm just trying conversation now so we don't end up with a bunch of round tripping going on in this cycle, because that is never fun. So let's see here. Share this. This is ETH to Bitcoin, 15-minute cooling down just a little bit. Let's look at it on the week. So major spike from that 22% pump on Ethereum yesterday, even with Bitcoin rising above 104, right at $104,000. Ethereum rallied against Bitcoin by 30%. Absolutely insane. So, and I know I don't own any particular, you know what? Base ecosystem basically is ETH. So, gotcha. Jeez, man. It's hybridized ETH. This is like 30% rally. Money flow looks like it's trying to swoop up to the upside too. Look at that. This is weekly money flow. That looks like it's trying to come to the upside in a big, big way. Absolutely delicious looking. So when I'm looking at these pairing charts, ETH has had a absolutely rough go. And you can see like in the March 2024, that was kind of like we saw a bunch of 10Xs, 20Xs for like altcoin, AI adjacent altcoins in this realm last year. ETH barely even ticked up. I mean, this is a baby rally, a rally for ants. What is this even at here? It's being blocked by this stupid little cursor. Let's get you out of the way. All right, so this rally was about 21%. We just outdid this entire March rally in like one day, which is actually pretty amazing to see. And where I sit right now with this is when I do see this overall performance on Ethereum essentially hit, this 150% level, then I'm gonna be taking a very, very serious look at getting out of the altcoins. Okay? That's what I'm using. It's the ETH to Bitcoin pairing, but then, well, let's say I do have a bag of Avalanche right now, and I'm gonna do the same damn thing I did last year when I see these things moving against Bitcoin like they historically had, right? Like, we saw this, and this is about, let's just look at September. So September of 23 is when I saw the green dot on Bitcoin. I was like, "All right, let's go." I backed up the truck. But then over the next few short weeks, it really only took a few weeks. This is freaking 260% rise against Bitcoin. So then selling the Avalanche makes a whole hell of a lot of sense in this, even if I just had bought it like a month ago. This is why we do it. It is what it is. Oh God, Nick Gerd, you don't have black lung, do you? Holy God, man, that would absolutely suck. I'm sorry if that's true. And also, yes, after the show, I'm going to be on with Veteran Crypto on his DeFi Crypto and Airdrops channel. I'm actually pretty excited for that conversation because the idea was, and this is what I had been grown up to be, uh, I not trained, but this is what I grew up to think is that getting a bunch of rental properties and like building this huge portfolio of rental properties is going to be the way to go. And now, hold on, hold on, Dylan.
You are banned.
Unbelievable. So that's what I was kind of told to believe. And now that I see this uh insurance rate rise and like the taxes going ballistic, and then rent, or just for an example, if I bought a $200,000 house right now at the current interest rate, it's going to cost like 2,200 a month roughly for the mortgage, and I can only rent the damn thing out for 1,500 to 2,000 tops. And then I got to trust the renters to not destroy the place. Doesn't sound too enticing to me. Why not just get more Bitcoin? I already have the guns, And you know what? The Sienna is highly regarded for its reliability. So I'm going to drive that Sienna to the ground. My mechanic, you all know my mechanic. He's going to be pissed at me if I ever sell that thing. So it is what it is. Now back to the charts here. There comes a time to sell these freaking altcoins. Okay. It's seasons like this where you start to run up because look, the trend line on these all leads down to zero, honestly, guys. So, it is what it is. Even Ethereum, the number two, the biggest one, fiat currency, housing, everything. Bitcoin is the black hole for all value across the world. So this is what I'm looking at. And look, Andy, here it is. Look at, I'll highlight your comment, Andy, because this is what I'm feeling too. This is what I'm feeling. He had 3 rentals for 15 years, sold them all 5 years ago, went into crypto, best thing he ever did. Less headaches. It's just like, why even deal with it? So Bitcoin, easy play, and I don't get actively taxed on holding the Bitcoin. Also, we have a great channel partner, Bitcoin IRA. If you have IRAs or intent to do so, click the link in our description for Bitcoin IRA. Huge shout out to them. Or if you just want a cold custody, use our link in the description and take advantage of Arculus. Okay, I think I got one of these. This is the best cold storage device on the freaking planet. I don't even think this might not actually it does. This is an unused one, but it's just been opened. This is how they come. This is the easiest cold storage device to use out there. Okay. And if one of these things, you become your own bank. It's very, very easy to use. Fluffy the sheep saying, I never laugh at your jokes. I don't see your joke. What's your joke? You got to tell it again. Sorry, I'm just so focused. People, take control of your crypto. Okay. Take control of your life. Jesus. And if I had a rental property, then the control of my assets is at the behest of some random renter. And that is just really, really not what I'm looking for. Papa Goose says it best. One squatter can really F you up. Absolutely. So now let's go into all the stories here. I just, I have to be serious about this I have to be really serious about this time to sell. Like this is the model that most of these altcoins have right now, you guys. It really is. Like even the ICP, even the ICP. And every time my wife has big ideas that finally, she's ready to pull the trigger on, yeah, ICP to Bitcoin. This is absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like it had the same thing. If you zoom in, you September, October, November, you get that massive move up. You move from $3 up to 16, $17. Easy sell. And then, right. And here's zero. Here's zero for ICP. Just use this stuff, right? It's to your advantage. In altcoins, you're going to be a genius for a few months and a fool for the rest of the markets. Okay. So just take that into account when you're stacking up these altcoins to gain satoshis. Like you're going to spend a lot of time in pain, and it is what it is. It is what it is. You just have to be based about your expectations. Know what level of value that you pull the trigger at will actually change your life. That's what's up. So now let's go here. I'm going to go this. This is pretty big news. Went a little underreported. U.S. banks can now hold Bitcoin. This is absolutely ridiculous. Now that, because my mother, or you know what, I won't use that example. Family members, friends, people on the outside looking in, they have a lot of capital that they're uncomfortable putting in to the cold storage device because they're scared of using these things. This is why I like this one, because it's very easy to use. But now that they can use their bank to custody the Bitcoin, massive amount of inflows, you guys. This is completely underreported. I think that this deserves a lot more notice than it's really been talked about on the line. Yeah, you know why you got a ban, Dylan. Unbelievable. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. Just shooting into the crowd. Now this stake and shake, accepting Bitcoin payments at all locations starting May 16th, making cryptocurrency available for our more than 100 million customers. This is are they using the Lightning Network or why are we selling our Bitcoin for hamburgers, especially a steak and shake hamburger? Doesn't sound so great to me. It sounds not great at all. And you know what? Decent hamburgers. They need better staff. The one that was pretty good for me, the one right down the road from the office is great staff. I almost have like Chick-fil-A vibes, but I don't know from you guys, because I don't really feel like Steak and Shake is the best hamburger out there. That is something that they have much to be desired in terms of their burgers. I really think that what's the common one that you like? Because Five Guys is all right down the street, but I have some really, really good local spots where I live. I think it's like 287 South or something like that has absolutely delicious, thick, amazing burgers. There's Merle's. And let me know. In-N-Out from SoCal. Let's see, our Steak and Shake is mid. In-N-Out. A lot of say In-N-Out. Five Guys is like $20 for a double cheeseburger. So that's a lot of satoshis for a double cheeseburger. Drew, what cold storage device did you just hold up? This is a main channel sponsor, dudes and dudettes. This is Arculus. So it comes in a package like this. Oh, that looks good too. And then you open it up. This isn't a used one or anything. So you have like your seed phrase card there. And then this is the actual card you tap to your phone. And you basically tap to your phone. It scans your face, uses 3-factor authentication to get you to be able to send assets out. But you can just send them to the wallet, and then I control it on my phone or an app. But yeah, the idea of spending Bitcoin to get a hamburger, it's like almost as nefarious to me as when they were trying to shill us with the jab out of New York. Like, you get some fries and a hamburger if you inject yourself with this experimental, vaccine. That would be, just you're selling your future down the road there. So spend your Bitcoin cash. That's a good one. Crypto Steve knows what's up. All right. So now let's go into this. Rumble CEO Chris Pavlovski says the company will launch its stable stablecoin wallet and Bitcoin wallet in quarter 3 of this year. Big moves. And seeing, I mean, on Raw, we're getting like 10 to 30,000 views on our shows that I didn't even notice until I clicked on the channel yesterday. I know we're streaming to there. So first of all, to the 10 to 30,000 people a day that are watching our shows, thanks. Shout out to you. Maybe subscribe to the channel, give it a like, why not? Five Guys giving out free nuts, and Five Guys are always giving out free nuts, and that's the scam. That's how they try to make sense of the $20 hamburger. Absolute scam, scandal at the highest degree. Now, let's see here. Gotta click this. All right. So, oh man, I almost just changed off the stream. Altseason 2.0 should start now, right? This is interesting. So this is the total 3 or the others chart. Let's go look at this for ourselves on the old good old trading view here, just to see and back test this to see if this is just some, what is this? Engagement farming post. Well, shit, there's something. Look at that. Let's see here. So we got this good old trend line. Honestly, like this is the old school trend line, right? He's kind of taking the newer school one here. Let's delete that. He's kind of taking the newer school one, essentially right in this level. And it has bounced quite a bit off of that. What is this moment here? So this is June 2023. It fell below it pretty hardcore. A lot of ETF hype and inflows. Dan thinks Culver's best burger. Dude, you know what? For major chains, Dan is correct. I think so. Culver's, very good. The butter burger and the cheese curds, stop it. Amazing to see this bounce here. Amazing to see this bounce. This is the others chart, excluding the top 10. There's a lot of the hyper speculative projects out there. Yeah, Culver's is good. And you put the cheese curds on the burger, beat that thing up. Beat that thing up. You know what I'm saying? I haven't eaten all day, you could tell. This is the others chart, and really, this is one hell of a bounce, you guys. Like there was a major capitulations happening. A lot of projects hit bear market accumulation levels over the past like month or two, and really, this is the like you're in altcoins. If you are overexposed to altcoins, you're going to feel like a fool for 90% of your crypto experience. Yeah, Culver's got me worked up. Culver's got me hot and heavy. Yeah. So, oh man, I need a burger now, J James. J James, we should go get a burger, right? We should go get a burger. Bitcoin and burgers. So yeah, I mean, seeing this chart, this just explains you're gonna feel like a fool for 90% of the time holding altcoins. When the time comes that you don't feel like a fool and it flips to where you feel like a genius, you get the Bitcoin. You swap it for Bitcoin. It's a simple, very simple move to make. You know what I mean? Bitcoin is the king here. And now this is something very interesting that's got kind of a really cool backstory for some big alts. Is Facebook is now enabling crypto payments for their 3 billion users. Bitcoin Lightning is now, this is highlighting Bitcoin Lightning, but honestly, the thing that sparks me is like they're probably going to choose a stable coin of some sort to put in this. But the team that was behind the Libra token, I think it was about 3 years ago, that Mark Zuckerberg was trying to utilize to roll out a in-app, cryptocurrency project within Facebook. They had to split up. They split up into 2 different teams. And those teams have made projects that, many people don't know this, are very effective right now. Those teams split up into Sui and then Aptos. Okay. Sui has got like this Solana competitor action going forward. It's got a lot of focus on it. But then Aptos is a sneaky RWA play. Very sneaky. So let's actually look at both these. I'm getting sidetracked on the story, but it's very relevant. Let's go look at Aptos and see if we are still in the bear market lows. We can get good entry points. Cause I was like in and out of this thing at around like $7. I just, it was the time where I just consolidated everything. I was like, you know what? Aptos, you're not included in this. Let's see where we're at right now. Pull this up. All right. So we're at 550. I actually protect myself from a little bit of a downside here. Ooh, very much so did. Okay. God damn. Holy cow. How did I do that? All right. So now we are at $5. All time. Ooh. Oh, that looks delicious. This looks delicious from just a speculator standpoint, not to mention the dev team behind it. Oh, mm, okay, okay. Oh, man. Oh my god, okay, okay. This is, kinda giving me a little bit of FOMO here on Aptos. See, and this happened to me on Near too, because, like, I got out of Near a while back. I think it was, like, 5 or $6 or something. It's down at $3 right now. Like, a lot of these pretty decent projects are at, like, good speculation level. I mean, if you're buying down here and it's, a risk play and you understand it's a risk play and you're only looking for it to like, shoot, you can get a quick pop and a double up, a triple up, and you don't even have to accomplish the previous all-time high. Unbelievable. Now let's go look at SWE. SWE has some very, very interesting things going on for it. And SWE has been dominating on a few different metrics. Let's go to Artemis Crypto because I've seen it's going to be important to look at how much ground Ethereum has recaptured, but also see what the other chains are doing here. I'm going to make this smaller for just a second. We're going to go to flows and we got net flows. Okay, so now what do we got? The 3-month top inflows, top outflows, and then the net flows, right? The total. OP mainnet, a lot of outflows. Interesting to see. Base, still second in command. Sonic, the old Phantom here coming out. Very, very interesting to see Sonic still holding this top net flows over the last 3 months. Unichain, right below Arbitrum. Arbitrum's kind of weird. It doesn't have like that massive upside, but it's used heavily. Solana still remaining in the top end there. SWE got a little bit of outflow, just a touch, but honestly not too much. Just trying to hold the line here. I do want to go look at SWE. I know SWE has been absolutely ripping on the price side. Let's see where it's at right now. Because I remember I was looking at this like a week ago and I wanted 280. That didn't happen. That obviously did not happen. Let's see. Yeah, I was trying to get like something in this range. It is looking just very, very strong. The ultra buy would be this $2 level in our current scenario. The ultra buy would be $2. That's if we get like, some major FU in terms of trade. We get another good like snap crash. I could see that. I'm not the dude that buys these pumps. Like I'm more inclined to buy Aptos over SWE just looking at the graphs. But that's and then like SWE in general, I was looking for like $10 to $20 for like all-time high with the limelight it's got. Dennis Padilla looking for 35 cents on the graph. I was looking at that a little bit ago. We may as well go. SWE lens send PS. I can't do it, that accumulator. We're already past that. We're here making money. Jesus Christ. Are you paying attention now? I'll just do it myself. Oh my God. How far we've come, right? How far we've come. Former PayPal vice president says Bitcoin Lightning Network will welcome dozens of digital banks and wallets and enable hundreds of millions of people to receive Bitcoin-powered payments by the end of quarter 3. Now, don't spend your Bitcoin on stuff. Don't do it. As no matter how easy they make it, a store of value. Okay, we have all kinds of other technology that can use for to and from transactions. For the love of God, like we're on the edge of like nation states building strategic reserves, and they're trying to make it as easy as possible for you to sell your Bitcoin and take it from your hands. Jesus, it's so aggravating to me. Like it's great to see. I don't know. Is it really that great though? Like they're just making more options for idiots to fall into, and then they end up with less Bitcoin over time. This is the powers that be trying to take your Bitcoin from you. Don't do it. You don't do a scandal. Now, let's talk about free speech and crypto. Crypto is essentially a framework to store and exchange information. Money is also a system of information. At its core, using crypto is speaking in code, and in a free society, code is speech. So, what's the First Amendment stance on exchanging information freely again? This is where digital transfer of value, we need a digital Bill of Rights. We need a digital protection for our rights now that the system has moved online. I mean, the system truly is moving online. Like anyone that has refused to move online in terms of like this, not even like an old school superintendent on a construction site can avoid the internet now or email. And it'll come to the point where they won't be able to avoid the little AI robot that's mapping out the plan for their project. And then they won't be able to avoid the AI robots that the company has bought to lay out the concrete and panels in a very simple manner. Like it is unavoidable that technology is changing, no matter how far down blue collar we are. One of the more difficult ones that I'm thinking about is electricians. To redo that sector would be pretty tough. Plumbers, the jobs that you have to get at really obscure positions in existing structures, those might take longer than the other ones, but, new construction, you can lay out a pad and have that system really, kind of automate it. So, just keep that in mind. You have to keep up with technology as it shifts, and this country needs to keep up with our rights as this system shifts because crypto is literally a store and exchange of information. Where's our free speech in that, right? Well, now we have U.S. Senate voting to halt the Genius Act, the stablecoin bill, push stablecoin legislation to the forefront. Rising tensions surge over Trump's crypto involvement with 48 yeses and 49 nos. Was disappointing to see Rand Paul was among the nos. So there is that. There is that. All right, let's see here. I got this is a good question. Let's type in the other TJ. Honestly, that's oh my god, he does look like the other TJ. When you sell your alts and convert them to Bitcoin, you're waiting for the bear bottom, correct? Or are you just straight converting regardless of Bitcoin price? I mean, in the laddered section, like I'd say, like when I'm selling the altcoins, I'm taking the stable coin immediately. And then, my mind's eye of what I'm planning to do is that I'm planning to spend about 25% of that altcoin pool on Bitcoin and then hold a pretty good amount of stable coins to then buy any corrections. It does get real sketchy doing that though, because we have so much regulatory framework built and accepting Bitcoin for these reserves that max paying in Bitcoin might be up only. It very well may be. Because we're sitting here playing around with our little $3 trillion market cap, but that's us speculators. Like we don't even have hardcore nation state movement yet. Um, so that is the thing that I'm really, really thinking of. Shout out to Nate 707. Electrician was one of the best choices I've made other than buying Bitcoin. Electricians, and think about this. With all the data centers they're about to have to build and all the, trillions of dollars that's coming in from overseas and from internally, a lot of that money is going to be going towards data centers, power plants, stuff like that, right? There's a lot of money to be made in certain trades over the next few years if you position the right way. So what the hell, Rand Paul on the stablecoin bill? Held, bro. Maybe he's salty at Trump over something still. Who knows? But this is from Ryan Selkis. There is no 5D chess. Coinbase misplayed politics on the stablecoin bill. The industry has no leverage. GOP is pretty close to being over crypto. I disagree with this. As long as Trump, Lutnick, and Bessent continue, that's the three. I mean, we don't really need all these other twits in the GOP. Those are the three. We'll have 4 years of laissez-faire regulations, but no bills unless they cram something that must pass in bills later this year. You know what? I think there's some nuance, and I actually disagree with this pessimistic take because really we just need the main three honchos to be pushing it forward. It's not really about the GOP anymore. This is the Liberty Party. So there is that. The GOP is losing whole as days go by, and it's from a disenfranchised middle class, disenfranchised lower class, and young Americans are getting crushed. That's why they're disenfranchised. Nearly half live paycheck to paycheck right now. Just 1 in 6 people in the young American class say that they're financially secure. At their age, boomers and Gen X were starting families and buying houses, but instead, millennials are sharing ramen with roommates. This, honestly, not too far off the mark from a lot of the colleagues that I spent in high school with. Okay. And it is kind of insane to see. Um, they were sold this whole idea of go to college and build this huge debt out and then go get some job. Um, it really is disenfranchising for people from in my millennial generation. Now, I mean, like software engineers, right? And sure, there's going to be a guy or two that's needed for like quality assurance. What's going to happen to software engineers over the next few years as AI can just poop out of code immediately, right? And the same thing happens with graphic design, like all kinds of different industries. So, Drew, you must look into Space and Time. We insist. Was that like a movie, something? Let me know if it's a movie or not. Nate 707 in 2008 thought the recession hit him hard. It was difficult to find local work. I don't know. I hope you do okay if we go into a recession. Don't worry about going into a recession because they changed the definition of a recession, right? What is this? Thanks to show Drew, gonna lurk. I want to find out what this what this thing you guys are talking about. A new con lol. Microsoft back. Microsoft kind of far out. It's on Coinbase. Was okay, so it's space and time. Is that a ticker? Is it SAT? Is the ticker SAT? SXT? Let's see here. What is this? L. We incest. Wow. Well, if you incest, you're banned. Let's see. Here we go. All right. So down 21%. Not great. Down heavily. Not great. It's down 34%. What's it been out for like a day? What is this? What is this? See you later, Deucey does. Love you, man. I haven't been in the Discord this week. It's been crazy. I've been doing the Discover Crypto shows too. So lots of volume as people are on the way out. That's super. What is this? What the hell is this? Why am I looking at this thing? Space and Time. Microsoft backed. It's a pretty big claim. Look a nice new rug opportunity. What is this? What in the world is this? Deny. Scandal. AI Studio Web3 APIs. Yada. Ashrock. Trusted companies like. Okay, so it's trusted by these 4 companies that it's touting this Microsoft deal. Microsoft backed, but then you have like, look, wouldn't you put? So this is what's on their Twitter, Microsoft backed. And then if that was the case, I'd probably put Microsoft backed right here and trusted by companies like Cashlock and Spearbit. And you know what? Nope. 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 Mm-mm. That in and of itself. Like, who's the people behind this? What's this scandal? Yeah, all this copy and paste white paper stuff. Whatever. Studio, community. Probably someone bought this thing like, oh, I'm gonna be so mad at Drew for being a jerk to. I don't care. You suck. This is stupid. Because if you were actually backed by Microsoft, like you claim on your X, your little gold check mark, then you would absolutely put the fact that you were backed by Microsoft on literally your front page. Like that'd be the first and foremost thing that you're talking about. Like, you would see that within the first 5 words. AKA lives in Azure. Yeah, like what do you borrow Microsoft's mop once a month? Like, you would absolutely be touting that first and foremost. Like, it's not on their official website. This absolutely not. Oh, alright, so back to real life here, not fantasy land. Sending 2 kids to daycare costs more than rent in most major US metros. You know what? It cost twice as much as my mortgage for daycare for 2 children. Absolutely insane. You can buy it in Windows. Oh my god. I was like, I have a part Drew has an official partnership. This is me. I'm saying it right now. Drew is officially partnered with Google and YouTube. You know what? I actually do have a partnership with Rumble though. But you know what? And I don't even like watch other YouTube people shill the hell out of it. Yeah, rugs always have had websites, you know, they just make and you know what, like, was it Zero Bro or something? The dev, like, he just acts like he died when someone sees like, realizes he didn't die. He just acts like he died so he could sell his tokens. This is just be careful out there. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, Nate, I'm glad you asked the opinion. Daycare is like a college tuition. This is so insane. It's like twice the cost of mortgage for me for 2 kids in daycare while I'm here working. And you know what? That's crushing the middle class and lower class, man. Like, I'm able to pull it off only because I'm able to like I found ways to outpace inflation through trading and stuff like that, but this is so brutal for the average person. Uh, Isaac is out there. God, I think he's out in the middle of the woods, northwest Georgia or northeast Georgia. I think he's doing some filming or something. He's not sick. No, he's not sick. Not sick. He's fine. He actually set up the show for me, because I was on Discover Crypto. He just couldn't be on camera today. So now Ukraine starting to consider a shift away from the US dollar, possibly linking its currency more to closely to the euro. Wrong. No, you are not going to do that. I know that this is nice little hopes and dreams. They want strong buying power. The euro not doing great. And honestly, most trade that they need to do in and out of is in US dollars. Guess what? Because you just signed a mineral deal with us. And it is what it is. I am worried sick. Crypto Steve. All right. MSNBC, the worst there is on television, misrepresenting so far, knowing their statements about me and the tariffs that it should be considered major campaign violation are nothing less than an arm of the Democrat National Committee. And their untruths are incredible. Real losers, their ratings are down the tubes, but that pressure on them doesn't give them the right to lie and cheat. You know what? Trump, I'm here for you, baby. Keep going after MSNBC, CNBC. I just am going to keep you accountable for that damn Epstein list. And if you don't give it, hell to pay. Hell to pay. But the American people demand it, right? Trump says that 80% tariffs are on China seem about right. The interesting about the timing of this announcement seems about right. 80% tariffs. They came out this morning, and honestly, Bitcoin didn't budge. This is telling me that Bitcoin is literally at the point of giving no Fs with these. I mean, like if we had some major bad news about China, sure, that could rock us bad. But this announcement came out this morning, and we were already up on this show. Like I think we're at about like 104 ish. It came out, and what did we drop here? Just maybe like a percent, 1.8, 1.1%. And now just chopping around it's trying to build up another move to the upside. This is short-term scalp ideas here. Let's just look at this. To here. Here. A little bull flag attempt here. You know what? Seeing this, like I know I'm still trading off that weekly green dot. Just being cognizant of this. I may as well put out these other entry points that I'll keep stops on in case I get them. I am. Turn it green because I'm going in, not leaving. And then another one here. Right smack dab in the middle of that bad boy. But yeah, it was very interesting to see that the announcement, like 80% tariffs are about where they should for Trump. And then Bitcoin really didn't move very much, right? I mean, we see it's trying to hold up here even after yesterday's massive move. Gonna need that MF and list. That's right. There's your Uncle Tommy. We don't forget. We ain't done forgotten. Absolutely not. Memory is sharp. Tack. Target. Now we got to go to the next story. Peter Schiff going to be speaking at Bitcoin Vegas. What is this? Just come out and say, what is that symbol? Come out and say the what are in control. I think we all know who's in control of the country, right? Right? Usury. Illegal for a reason. Given that Xi Jinping knows that we consider China to be our primary enemy, why would we want to continue supplying U.S. with goods and stockpiling our treasuries and MBS, especially when he knows the U.S. is likely to feel justified in defaulting on bonds held by the enemy? I mean, really, the whole world owes $300 trillion. Like, who is the whole world going to pay back? Yeah, and this guy, this is the kind of constant negative conversations that come out of people that have down bags. They want the recession so everyone falls down to their level. Even though gold's going to all-time highs, he is still mentally losing to Bitcoin and monetarily losing to Bitcoin in aggregate. Conversation's been anti-Bitcoin, that gold is going to take over. This is just, I'm interested to see his speech at Bitcoin Vegas. It's like his brand to be anti-Bitcoin. So why the hell is he coming there to get tomatoes thrown at him or something? I just don't know. Trump's sons will be speaking at Bitcoin Vegas. Ooh, hell yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Be able to see them. Everyone's gonna be like, "Thanks for telling me to buy Ethereum at $2,900, Eric." And he'll get tomatoes thrown at him too. It's tomatoes for everyone. This is such a memory throwback. But he is so crazy. Metallica concert registered a small earthquake in Virginia Tech's Lane Stadium as thousands of Hookies jumped in unison. The band played in front of 60,000 fans as part of their M72 World Tour. According to Virginia Tech Seismological Observatory, there's a spike when Metallica started playing Enter Sandman. We gotta listen. This is so sick. Shout out to Metallica. It was an honor being compared to this band. Imagine that. Imagine that energy. Incredible. I played an amphitheater once. It was nothing. Like 5,000 people. Made a literal earthquake right here. Ooh, gotta get you going. Burgers got me going. Metallica got me going. That, buddy. All right. So now let's talk about what we're gonna do. Okay. Things like it seems like the altcoins are back. Seems like we are very back. Honestly, we never left. It's just about who bought that recent dip that's extra up right now. Well, let's say we wake up, see Ethereum at $10,000. Okay. What are you going to do? Are you going to keep are you a long-term visionary for Ethereum in this? Because, there's no denying a lot of RWAs are being built on Ethereum, but then you have the counter argument where a lot of L2s are built on Ethereum and the revenue is going down, right? But at a $10,000 Ethereum price, you would be seeing, this is just some math. So if Ethereum hit $6,000 and the altcoin sector rose in tandem with altcoin movements that we've seen in cycles past, within just the top 100, not counting the millions of dead tokens and all that stuff. So the same level of speculation as we've seen in the last few markets, with less regulatory clarity, less implementation of RWAs, AI, super stuff, then you would see, basically the top 10 of crypto move to essentially 100 or $200 billion on up, right? So you would see the top 10 of the current market cap projects go to $200 million on up. Just for like this matters to understand. Like I know we're like feeling good off this 20% pump, but I'm just reminding you guys of how fast things can go. So if Ethereum hit 6,000 bucks, then you don't count stable coins. So basically number 12 on up. Chainlink's essentially in the top 10 if you're excluding stable coins. That feels good. The top 10 would be 200 billion on up, right? And then the number 11 through 20 projects, excluding stable coins, would basically be in the 80 to $190 billion mark. Okay, because there's a power vacuum at the top 10 every single cycle. Now, then the top 21 to 30 would be essentially ranging from right around 40 to $80 billion market caps. Okay. And then it really starts to shrink from there. The top 31 to 40 would be essentially like 20 to 40. And then from there, top 50 would be about 10 to 50. So, or 10 to 20 rather. And then basically a heavy dispersion. It's interesting. The lower 100s would all basically be like $1 billion on up. Right now, the lower 100, let's see what it's at right now. Lower 100s at a $700 billion market cap, right? These would just end up being like a few $1 billion market caps. And then you start cooking up into the tens of billions once you start getting close to like the number 50 range. So, if we do indeed see Ethereum rise to, $6,000, that's where the really stupid high numbers come in for altcoins. And really, you have to have a plan of what would actually change your life to be able, because you're going to be in the time frame where there's going to be conversations. It's only going up. The true adoption is here. Facebook's live, all of these different amazing things. But we have to remember that Bitcoin is revamping the entire monetary system before our eyes. And to do so is going to take quite some time, honestly. I mean, there's a lot of regulatory red tape that needs to be rolled back. There's a lot of power that needs to be given up from central banks in that process. And that power is being exercised on the Hill with that stablecoin bill that we just highlighted being blocked for the time being as well. So when we get to those levels, just don't get too disillusioned about the upside that's to come for altcoins. What you can do is just use that altcoin paired to Bitcoin. Notice the heavy green candles on the weekly, the monthlies, and then know that it's okay to start peeling back, right? Start peeling back. And the best, DCA on the way in works generally, and DCA on the way out works generally. But a lot of this is going to be looking at the Pi cycle top indicator. I don't need to go over it again. I go over that all with you homies in the basement a lot. Basically, the Pi cycle top indicator is the best indicator out there on the market. And really, you know what? When that thing crosses, start looking at exit points. Drew, you holding any moon bags when all is said and done with alt cells? No. It's all Bitcoin. The only one I could see leaving like 10% behind in is maybe Chainlink. That's like the only one. But no, I'm not leaving any really anything on the table there. I just don't feel like it. I don't feel like it. I've seen altcoins go down 90% time and time again. Chainlink is the only one where I'd leave a little bit on the table just to see if that Swift integration or the proof of bill that Chainlink's working on actually gets utilized. Any news on Swift and Link? That integration with Swift using the CCIP isn't slated to go down until November of this year. So, that'd be the kind of like the reason why I'd be leaving a little bit of a Chainlink in the background to see what it might be, up to. But really, yeah, it's really nothing I'm doing. Drew, can you explain global liquidity and how it affects the altcoin market? I mean, first and foremost, global liquidity affects, and shout out for you for the message, Hedge 96. Global liquidity more primarily affects Bitcoin, but when we see global liquidity being increased and the need for monetary easing, then the risk appetite really starts to get increased with investors. So with that, then you see, because Bitcoin's at a $2 trillion market cap, but the other altcoins are all playing around in there a couple $billion. And when we do see that money supply, the M2 in aggregate, start breaking above the all-time high, which it's at the edge of doing, if not already doing right now. A lot of the China money supply charts are wrong because they just take into account new ways of accounting for the money. It's barely peeking its head above the previous all-time high that was made not too terribly long ago. But when investors see that increase, the risk appetite increases. Thus, they start looking down the list of all the other, better projects out there. So there is that. Swift and HBAR. Haven't seen any direct announcements or documentation of HBAR from Swift documents proper. Although potential that it's out there, but I am careful about that. I haven't seen any mention of HBAR directly from Swift. Might be HBAR people talking about the integration with Swift, but I haven't seen Swift directly say it. So now, you know what? And also on Swift, I'm seeing a delay in international payments. Delay. Maybe the reason to make a move over a little bit heavier. Good morning, Crypto Princess. Thanks for the interview all that time ago. Shout out to you. I think you had sent me a question in Discord. I'm going to look back and see if I didn't answer you. I don't think I got back to you, so I'll make sure. Now, let's take a look at Salami. It's the Salami. Solana deep dive for those who missed it. SEC registered equity trading platform opening bell, launching with Solana strategies this summer. Public companies buying DeFi Dev Corp was 400,000 Solana, UniXP with 200,000 Solana, and an $8 million daily revenue. 54% cross-chain dominance. Very, very dominant cross-chain for Solana. Robinhood exploring Solana for EU securities. Solana has been highlighted by the IMF for a long time too. Protocol upgrades coming to match the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ performance. And remember when everyone said Solana was finished after FTX? Yeah, about that. 93.5% of stake Solana, still not in the last market, by the way. So that is absolutely crazy. Solana is a very interesting mover, and it did pass BNB earlier this morning. So from Mario Nafal round table, I do want to go check out where Solana is sitting in the battle. BNB overtook it just now. So BNB, the battle for Solana against Solana and BNB picking up. 88 billion for Solana, 89 billion for BNB. And you can see the power vacuum here, like Bitcoin at 2 trillion, Ethereum just under 300 billion. You got XRP at 136 bill, Solana at 88, BNB at 89, and then Dogecoin at 30. And it starts to really fall off the edge of a cliff there. And honestly, like if Chainlink and Sui are able to hold these levels, this is where it's very, very interesting. Let's look at what it would look like if Ethereum did have that awesome God candle rally to break previous all-time highs of $4,500 and break up to 5, maybe even 6K. And we do see the top 10 end up being that $200 billion mark on up. Let's look at what this would mean for Sui and Cardano. Let's kind of pick on these here. The power vacuum, very, very strong. Right? Let's do it for Sui, Cardano, and Solana. Why not? Go look at these. So Solana, let's look. So it's at $88 billion right now. In top 6, you'd be starting to mess around with like the 300 mark. So let's go to coin perspective. Let's go do some stuff on Solana first here. Coin perspective. I'm almost treating this like a Discord show at this point because it's just you and me. You and me, baby, ain't nothing famous. But we do moon math, baby, on the basement channel. We're getting it. Look up this little bit. And then, yeah, so if Solana is able to hold this level and we do see Ethereum break that previous all-time high and the market rises in aggregate with the rest of the cycles we've seen, this is where I think can actually get very, very interesting. That's where the power vacuum happens. You're ending up with, around 300 billion. And then the price of the token comes up to $571 a unit. That's a 2.5x from where it's at right now. And if see things get extra heavy, like the $500 billion mark, with a little bit of inflation accounted for, it ends up being under that 1,000. See, there's a huge difference. Like if it breaks out of the aggregate expectation of the number 6 spot and the 300 bill mark at that $500 level and breaks up to the $500 level, that's where things are going to absolutely get really, really crazy. Now let's check out which ones we were going to look at. I think it was SWE. What was it? I think it was SWE and Cardano. Let's look at this. Do some math here. SWE is going to have the highlights on it. It's going to have the spotlight. That's why we got to look at this stuff. So now, around the end of this year, we're supposed to have about half of the tokens out, about 5 billion tokens. So let's see here. That's SWE here. SWE is number. What is SWE? It's number 11. So in tandem, it's like number 9 if you're excluding all the stable coins. So let's say we can get just to that 200 bill mark. It can hold the line. See, that's a 10x. That's a freaking 10x or way above. That's if it holds. And then we're talking like a real proper alt season. And if it can hold this line, whoo, boy, $40. Good googly moogly. That's a 10x from where it sits even right now. These high levels. Maybe I'm being too greedy on my entry point for this token. I'm going to remain the same though. I'm a greedy entry point guy. It protects me in the pullbacks. See how I didn't wiggle during the pullback because my entry points are just stupid low. Let's see here. Now, Chainlink. Let's see if Chainlink. So Chainlink, the same thing. We're going to have about 700 mil out, and you accomplish that 200 bill mark. Bam. That's at just about $300. God. I am bricked up. I've gotten bricked up 3 times during this live stream. Side notes, can we look at DeFi Llama stats for SWE? Why not? Let's go look at some data. You know me, I loves me, my data. All right. Let's go here. So SWE. And this, I'm telling you, this thing can handle billions of people. This thing can handle billions of people. SWE can. It's came from the same developers that were building out the Facebook. The only reason the Facebook thing didn't happen 3 years ago is because Congress got pissed. So they split these developer people up. The TVL is really moving to the upside. See if there's any. This is where I lock up my computer with 80 tabs and then pulling all this data too. Price and TVL pretty in tandem. But the TVL looks very, very strong. Very, very strong. Wow. Okay. Now, let's go back. I wanted to look at Cardano too. Let's look at if Cardano can hold the line, which is going to be a battle. Okay. It's going to be a battle for Cardano to be able to hold the narrative and the line. But it's got a lot of psycho holders. It's like the same level of conviction holders as XRP. So it's number 9 right now, excluding altcoin or stable coins. That means number 7. And that means around like 220, 230. So let's go look at Cardano ADA. Cardano ADA. It's up a little bit. 38 bill. And then 220. Yeah, that's what I've been saying. Like $5.95. Or almost 7x from where it's at. That's not a bad move. I know BJ will be happy. I know a lot of people that have been getting this thing have been getting it at really low levels. Like it is a high conviction holder level. Lil Drew called ADA holder psychopath. Yes, I called ADA too, so I'm not discounting myself in that realm. Is what it is. I acknowledge myself. Gustavo, let's look at XRP for you. Let's look at XRP. Let's say XRP. holds the number 3 position. That's a 500 bill move. That's a 500 bill move. If it can hold number 3 position and things really, really pump up, it's like it's anywhere. I think it's more like diminished expectation. If it can hold this line, it's like 300 billion. Higher end is like seeing a $500 billion whole number 3 market cap in comparison to markets past, right? So let's go look at that. What that would look like. I believe it comes out to like $5 or $6 at the 300 mark. The thing that you got to be careful is there's going to be quite a few XRP tokens coming out over the course of the next year. So this number is actually going to increase pretty heavily. Like, I actually think I'm kind of underdoing it on the amount of circulating supply that's coming out. Let's see. 300 bill lower end. If it can hold the line, it's about $4. So I can double up, and it doesn't even. I'm unbricked now. Let's see here. If we can hit the 500 mark, things really get hot and heavy. Like almost $7, almost $7. So that's what we got to take into account here. I think I said someone calling like 8 to 10 Gustavo. It's going to, this is where the math on the tokenomics comes into play. And I just, I think I am underdoing the amount of tokens that are going to be circulating by like the end of 2025 for XRP, particularly in this case. I think I'm actually being pretty generous at around like 76 billion. But this is where, it's at that major market cap level already. And there's a lot to come out, right, in a shorter amount of time than other projects. Even with all the adoption, I get it. Ripple's got all these deals with banks and stuff like that. More so than now, they got the RLUSD, and it's like the fees that on our XRP are very, very minimal for a reason. It was designed that way. All right. Let's look at this question. I love kind of slowing it down with you. What are the indicators that you look at when jumping in on a pullback, retesting previous support, RSI hitting a certain point? When you put all your chips in, quite a few. The main one, great question, and thanks for the super chat, Byron. The main one, when I'm looking at a pullback, is first of all, you have to, are we in a bull year or are we in a statistical historical bear market? And that metric absolutely might change from what I've been looking at on the Bitcoin dominance level. But what I look for when to know essentially when to back the truck up and fill up my bags. Let's go look at it. That's a great question. And I think this is a great time. I'm having a lot of fun with you today. Let's go look at it. So I got my hotkeys here. It all derives from Bitcoin, honestly. And because I think all ships rise with the tide of Bitcoin. So my framework of when to YOLO comes off of Bitcoin stats here. Now, even though we are in an aggregate uptrend, this is where, you remember I did a massive move into Chainlink, ICP, and Avalanche when I saw this green dot. It was in 2023. It's September 2023. We had the green dot, the trigger wave. And so I YOLO'd in. I was like, I'm not a DCA constantly kind of guy. I just buy pain so that the pullbacks don't hurt as bad. This September moment was a back up the truck moment for me because the momentum went way to the downside. When I'm talking way to the downside, way lower than these, shorter term pullbacks. It was like 38 or 40. These marked moments where I knew that it was okay to really hammer in to whatever position. And then when I get out of the particular altcoin isn't really derived on Bitcoin, because when we see Bitcoin fall hard, altcoins really fall. But when we see Bitcoin rise lately, it doesn't mean necessarily that altcoins are rising. So when I know how to get out of that position, it does primarily matter on the Bitcoin pairing. So a good comparison of this, I mean, I already showed you the AVAX and ICP pairing. Let's do another one. Let's do Link. Let's do Link to Bitcoin. Okay, let's hop on in here. This is it. The same thing. And look at that. I've had these drawn for a long time. Long time. A very long time. Link is like, if it actually got that 1% use case out of Swift and the partnership they do have goes into action and there's no major regulatory stops, boom, then you can see like a 800% move against Bitcoin. But, for my profit taking and, my entry points are like 390 for this token. So when I saw this move, I mean, and this is one of the ones I just I really, really want to see what that November moment happens to be for Chainlink. All right. Because 1% of the deal they already have brings it to $400, just that action alone, not to mention the market cap stuff. And if it holds the line at the 10 spot that I showed you on the coin perspective chart earlier, where it goes to $300, 1% of Swift movements brings Chainlink up to $400 or $385 in and of itself. 5%, $1,800. Right. That's stupid. But this moment, these types of movements against Bitcoin are what signal me to be comfortable making the move out of it. Okay. So when I see these types of things, I have to remain very, very, keen on protecting my initial investment and making sure that I'm always growing the amount of Bitcoin in the portfolio, right? Like selling Bitcoin done in the past, worst mistake ever, right? Even though it's like for real estate or things of that nature, like selling Bitcoin, do not recommend. But selling altcoins for more Bitcoin feels great. So that is where, this type of graph for Chainlink, for Avalanche, for Ethereum, you name the altcoin project, the graph is generally going to look the same, unless it's like really bad, like ICP to Bitcoin is really, really bad, or Cardano to Bitcoin, really bad. XRP to Bitcoin, same thing. That's where it comes to mind, like lessons learned from cycles of it. I'm giving you these lessons because it's pain that I've had to go through, and I don't want you guys to have to go through the same stuff yourself. It's really it's a thing that I care about you guys, and I don't want to hear from a lot of people in this community that you had round tripped. That is the last thing that I want to hear. Round tripping altcoins. Okay, round trip Bitcoin, fine. You know what I mean? Because I think all tides are leading to Bitcoin regardless, anyways. But that is the thing. Moonwell, I wonder if we have a Moonwell pair chart. I'm slightly up on Well right now. I don't have a Moonwell to Bitcoin chart, sadly. Moonwell, I'm like, it's very intriguing to me. That's like the first one that they've been able to do routing number and bank account numbers through a crypto project. And honestly, it's right at the forefront for that. So I hold a little bag. It's not a massive bag. I think it's like a 2 or 3% hold. But it is a risk play. There is risk in holding it, but it moves very, very violent. Moves very, very violent. Arrow top perspective. Let's talk about it. Right. Let's talk about it. And make sure you guys, I'm rerouting to vet after this, but let's slow it down because I wasn't able to really dig into this stuff on the Discover Crypto channel, and I did see those questions come over. Let's see here. So we go to Arrow, and the volume looking good. It's up 23%. Market cap crap, $60 million. It's at 72 cents right now. God, whew, feeling good. This one's already like basically double the entry points. That's great. Only because the originals were at 18 and then I restacked at 50 cents like multiple times, but the major buy was at 18. Took some profits, so it's basically house money other than what I added recently. Now, right now it is at 72 cents. This thing in utility stance has given me early Uniswap, look. And Uniswap, for anyone that didn't see the morning show, Uniswap, it peaked at about $20 billion last cycle. Uniswap's probably going to have a really good cycle this time with that Unichain rollout as well. But Uniswap's market cap pumped up to about $21 billion very, very quickly and violent. I am looking for Aerodrome to accomplish around like at least half of this in this market. Like, I don't think that that's really being too moon boyish about like $10 billion market cap. Somewhere in the middle of the top 100 at the peak of this market. Aerodrome is currently slept on right now. Honestly, it's like number 110. I expect this number to end up being like in the mid 100s when all is said and done, because I think DeFi and the swap plays on base are going to be very, very good. So when we look at Aerodrome and the upside potential, let's hop on over to here. So we understand the tokenomics, we understand the historical movements of its predecessor in the conversation that Aerodrome has now positioned itself in. We have a lot of thought going into these numbers. We're going to, this isn't just spewed. So we have essentially, I think it's going to be around 900 mil out. The emissions, they're going to continue, right? And then we move this market cap to the $10 billion mark. That brings you to about a $12 per Aerodrome price level, which is freaking awesome. If you're like, if this accomplishes half of what Uniswap did last cycle, that's what it brings. Now, if it accomplishes what Uniswap did last cycle, and Uniswap goes on with the Unichain to go 30, $40 billion, which is not out of the question at all, then let's see what that brings up. Let's go to $22, right? Or 30x from where it sits. Yeah, I mean, being happy with the 750 arrow, absolutely. I mean, because our entry points are insane right now. This is where it comes, like having conviction. And you guys join me every single day on this show, and you pay attention to the market like hawks. And this is where all this conviction really, really pays off. This is where, in altcoins, we get yelled at by Bitcoin maxis for most of the time. And then there are a few short months that create even more toxic Bitcoin maximalists because they get outpaced by altcoins for a short amount of time, and that pisses them off. And they can't stand to see that there's an ecosystem of lending and swapping projects and all of these other things that happen in crypto. They cannot stand seeing that go nuts for a short amount of time. And that's where you get the toxic Bitcoin maximalism from. Okay. It's not because they just hate you because of the way you look or what you sound like. It's because of the short amount of times that they've seen in cycles past where they got absolutely smoked by altcoins for a few months. And then the altcoins fall by 90%. Like, you losers. That's where it comes in, because they have this little hill to dance on for a much longer time than us and altcoins have to dance on. So taking the profits, very, very important. So let's look at, I wonder if I have an arrow to BTC chart. I don't even have an arrow to BTC chart either. But that's basically what we see. So, if Aerodrome accomplishes half of what Uniswap did last cycle, that brings it to $12 a unit. If it accomplishes what Uniswap did last cycle, not trying to get massive moon boyish or Aerodrome to top 10, that's a $22 a unit movement, right? That's insane. So when it comes, you will hear Aerodrome's going to go to $100 billion. You will see the titles and the thumbnails, not from this channel, but you know what? You will see those. In that time, if you don't already have a plan for what's going to change your life, you're not going to be able to pull the trigger. But, is ICP dead? Hopefully not. I mean, my wife still holds some. I got out of that thing. I think there would be an escape pump for ICP. You know what? Let's go look at the ICP to Bitcoin graph. Let's do it. This is one of the ugliest graphs in crypto. All right. Let's see here. Bitcoin. Say tops. That's a tough one. Say tops is a tough one. Next week I'll try to really simmer on my thoughts on Say this weekend for you. I know a lot of people are holding it to kind of like fade what Sui was doing. It was moving in tandem with Sui. I'll look at that for you over the weekend, man. This is like absolutely the ugliest graph ever. Like this is what is this, like the Venezuelan dollar or something? Like, oh my God. Oh, look at that. And it came swinging hard out of that September. You remember that September green dot that I showed you on Bitcoin? That's when I moved into it because I had to make up for all the losses that were made by just buying a few coins when I was first getting into crypto last cycle. I got like a few coins, and it was like the first few were $200. Then I bought like a couple more at $100, and then a couple more at $50. And I just got out at 50. I sold everything at a major loss. It wasn't like a major monetary loss, but it was percentage wise a major loss. Let's see. So it seems like the pain, like let's be generous on this. But honestly, this trend line is so the upside, we could see like 182% run against Bitcoin for like a last breath. Honestly, dudes, if we see the regulatory clarity and there is no need to just YOLO Web 2 onto Web 3, right? Like, I don't know. Because you got to like plug into the existing system to a degree, right? Can't just swap everything to Web 3 immediately. That is Alien Base. I got an Alien Base. I hadn't looked at Alien Base in a while, but you know what? I'm gonna think about this. Say you bring in Say up, and it really is. That's been on my mind, and I am gonna have to take this piece by piece, and maybe this is something we do in the Discord. Where we take this line by line. I know there was a lot of hype going on in March of 24 when I was selling, and I was telling you guys, my wife just got big real estate ideas and vehicle ideas. And so I sold, and it was just because of that pairing graph and, her idea. I mean, when she comes out with her ideas, she literally calls the exact tops. So it is what it is. Like she helped me sell Ethereum, the vast majority of our Ethereum at $4,500 a piece. So, I mean, she's incredible. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel if you appreciate the information, the forward, I'm honest with you guys, if I don't see the opportunity there, I'm going to be honest with you. It is what it is. I'm going to hop on Veteran Crypto's channel. And, if you are interested in taking advantage of any sort of Bitcoin IRA action, if you have an IRA and you want to look at housing that in an IRA, take advantage of our sponsor of the channel, Bitcoin IRA, to house those gains long-term in Bitcoin primarily. I don't suggest any altcoins necessarily, unless you're swapping in and out. L-Bank right there. For that trading competition, this trading competition is absolutely awesome. We have 30 days to get in on this, you guys. So this is all volume based. You get newcomer bonus of $100 in USDT to trade. If you do the trade in 100 USDT, then you get an extra 30 USDT, limited to the first 500 users. So make sure to sign up. And if you are getting that user ID, send it to me so I can get you plugged into the major Discord that TJ is about to roll out in the next week or two. But this trading bonus it's $10,000 in cash back based on cumulative trading volume. If you're like me, you're creating a lot of volume, right? So if you are out there, this is a pretty simple way to claim, like up to $9,000. Look at this, like top one, if you do 50 million in volume, gets 10,000 freaking Tether. That's absolutely crazy. 30 million, $5,000. 10 million, $2,000. And it goes down. If you're doing $10,000 in volume, which is easy, then very, very simple. Very, very simple. Ooh, I have some music going. Oh, shout out to you. But yeah, get involved, man. Because I'm going to be doing quite a bit of trading. As you know, I've been printing Tether from that pullback to 75. Gotten pretty damn good at it. Right now, just looking for local levels here. Basically, I want to see a washout to 101.5 this weekend. Below that's about 99.5 or two major volume node levels are at. So simply put, those are what I'm watching over the weekend here to see for a little bit of cool off. But won't be surprised if we chaotically hold this level. If we get a China announcement, all bets are off. So I love and appreciate every single one of you guys out there. Make sure to subscribe and go over to Veteran Crypto's channel. DeFi crypto airdrops are about to go live there as well. I love and appreciate you guys. We're going to redirect there now, and I will see you very, very soon. Take care.
Marijuana.